Welcome to Wrench with John. My name is John. Today we're going to be doing some work on the 79 pace car again. We're going to try to fix this sunroof area. It's getting a little corroded, a little more than a guy likes, so we want to start to take care of this mess. Thank you to the people who commented about the sunroof weep holes and drain holes. I'm going to try to blow those out a little bit today. Took out the old headliner to install a new one eventually. A handful of work has been done to the car since the previous video, so let me show you around. So here we have the sunroof area that has seen better days. Pulled the sunroof and seal off, and the headliner that was wrapped around this little lip here also got removed. These areas are getting a little bit too thin, in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wire brush this area here. See, right here is a pretty thin spot, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna wire brush it really good. I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna wipe it with a solvent just to get any of that surface contamination off. And then I'm going to use Paint on Rust 15, better known as POR 15. That's gonna help lock down that corrosion to stop it in its tracks and to give it a nice look. And then we're also gonna put a little bit of primer on top of that tacky POR 15 to help it in the future from corroding even more and to be able to paint it. So let's hop right into it. But first, we gotta start masking off the existing paint area because we don't want any of that POR 15 to get on the surface of the car in the spots that we don't want to prevent corrosion. Now you might say, well, what about here? Well, I mean, that's fine. That's just a little bit of patina. You know, it has some character to it. Well, what about here? Yeah, that's just a little bit of bubbling, a little bit of imperfection. But this area is known to rust, and I bet you that it's about unobtainium to get a replacement for that. You'd have to replace the entire roof of the car from a donor. And me personally, don't really want to do that ever. So, I mean, you could see right here, that's getting a little worse for wear. So let's start taping off the interior. It's an absolute mess right now. But as you can see, the headliner is out of the car. Gonna put a new one in from LMR eventually. I already have it on order. Actually, I have it in my possession, but there's those sunroof vents I was talking about, or sunroof drain holes. I'm gonna try to clear those out as best I can, just with a little bit of pressurized air to help flush all that out. But let's hop right into the cleaning because that's the first and most important part, as well as the prep to prevent any contamination or any of that really nasty POR 15 getting on the surface of the car or in the interior itself. Let's get into it. All right, so now let's start blocking off the interior of the vehicle to help mask off any contamination or any crap getting inside, because the interior on this car is pretty nice. Okay, that's a lot of plastic. Let's, all right, let's try to make do here. Oh my, okay. Well, good thing it's cheap, so. Okay. So all I'm gonna do is just try to figure out how to hold this up inside to prevent anything from getting in the interior. Got some magnets. I'm gonna try to use some of these, but I also have these little tiny kind of coin-sized magnets. Oh, I guess these. Oh yeah, all right, needed that one. The more the merrier to help this stay clean, you know? Blow on it a little bit, see if anything gives way. probably gonna try to sneak this guy underneath it as well. See if I can get away with that. Oh yeah, easy. Perfect. Let's take one good look, make sure nothing can really penetrate through that plastic. I think we're okay. I mean, you got these little areas here, but they're probably sealed off good enough. Okay, with that done, next thing I want to do is I want to blow a little bit of air into these 4 holes on each corner of the sunroof top. That is where the sunroof water that collects is supposed to drain. Who knows how well that works? I'm just gonna lightly blow on it with a rubber tip blowgun, and we're gonna see if anything comes out, or if we hear any air either inside the car, hopefully not, or on the ground where it's supposed to go. That'll tell us if it's clogged or unclogged. So what I'm aiming to do here, put my little gun right there, just give it a light blow. Well, it sounds clear, so that's good. It's kind of tracking down in this area. See if I can feel anything with my foot. No, but it's clear, so that's a really big step. Let's try the rear one. Kind of nervous for this guy. It's coming out somewhere too. Again, don't know where it's coming from, but it sounds like it's moving air. So I got sound out of all 4 of the holes. So it looks like that they are not plugged up, which is excellent, because those, I guess, just kind of destroy these cars because they run through the A-pillar, I believe. You can see this hole. This is the driver's side front hole, and it runs down through, and I believe it just runs down the A-pillar. And I heard the air coming in this region here. So if that gets clogged up, basically this entire A-pillar is compromised, and the car essentially rots away from the top down, which is kind of opposite of what you think. Like if this were parked in a field or whatever, it would rot from the bottom up, but top down, I mean, you're not gonna be able to fix that. There's not very many replaceable parts for the roof of the car unless you just cut it off and replace it entirely. So I'm so glad that those are clear. Heard a helicopter, huh. Interesting. All right, now we're gonna start scraping this to prep for our POR. We gotta scrape it, vacuum it, and then wipe it off with a solvent to make sure it's crystal clear for that application. I wasn't the most graceful with that. So now let's check our seal again, make sure everything is okay there. Had a little bit of movement here, because if it sags a little bit, it'll collect all that junk we're trying to prevent from getting in there and eventually fall and just ruin the entire process. So I need to add more magnets, it looks like. So I'm gonna be using a wire brush just to work along here. Clean up any of that contamination that we're starting to see. Kind of a longer process, but it's very worthwhile. Either you save the car or you don't. So I'd rather save it. All right, with most of the bad spots cleared out, time to clean up this whole surface and then POR 15 all of the scandalous spots. Little flappy guy. All right, so let's see. Next steps of prep. Got a vacuum. Now, let's wipe it with acetone. All right, we'll do one last vacuum. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is POR 15. Paint directly over rust. Probably Formula 15. We're using gloss black. I think they make it in black and white. I really don't know. Black is what I've always used. This helps prevent further corrosion of the areas you target, as well as like throughout the surrounding areas of the application. So it just helps, you know, prolong the life of thin metal like this that wasn't really, I guess, well thought out back in the day, but it's what they had and it's what they figured out they could do. Not knocking anybody, but it's just the state of the fact that these cars do have a lot of rust spots that can build up over time if not well kept. So luckily mine's pretty well kept and has been, but others I've seen, like I said, just rotted out the entire roof, and you got to replace that thing. You got to cut all the pillars, lift that thing off and set a new one on probably. A lot more work than I want to do, so I got very lucky with this car, and we want to prevent that from having to do that in the future with this right here. You want to make sure to wear gloves, or else you cannot wash it off your hands. It takes probably about a month to come off your hands. Ask me how I know. You just use a cheapy, you know, paintbrush from Harbor Freight, throw it on there. Try to clean out the bristles of your brush just so it doesn't get in the actual solution. And you want to make sure that this lip is super clean when you reinstall this lid. They say it's not reusable, but I have reused it before, because if you do not clean this lip, this lid will weld it to the can, and you just lost, I don't know how much this stuff is now, probably 80 bucks for this can here, and this is only a quart. So let's use it sparingly, but let's do it right. Make sure everything's good. And when it's still tacky, we're gonna throw a light coat of primer on it just so we can paint it down the road, not have to worry about having primer stick to this stuff when it's fully cured. So I'm just putting it on those areas that are a little bit questionable regarding the corrosion factor. And some people might say it looks bad, but truthfully, one, you're never really gonna see it unless you're looking for it. And two, I don't really care, it's my car, you know? I wanna save it. I don't really want it to look as pretty as it can be at the moment, you know, live within my means and live realistically with what I'm given. Or I guess what I'm dealing with regarding this car. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. We got a lot of work done on this car. Even though it doesn't seem like we did, we eased my mind a little bit with the corrosion that was happening in the sunroof. Heard a lot of comments down below in one of my videos about the sunroof and these corrosive areas. I'm really glad I checked them now, because who knows, further on down the road, could have been a lot worse. So again, I want to thank you for watching this video. I also ask that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. In doing so, you bring exposure to this Mustang, you bring exposure to the Indy 500, exposure to what this car was and still is today. It's a first generation Foxbody, 1979. It means a lot to the Mustang world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and just car people in general. If you have any care for history of an automobile, this is the one to care about. So please, again, I ask that you subscribe. It's free, it helps me out, brings exposure, and I appreciate every subscriber and every view I get. So let's keep this train rolling. Let's get to 100 subs. We're almost there. I think we're about 83 now at the time of posting this video. So tell your friends, have them check me out, and also check out my TikTok. It's just @WrenchWithJohn. I post a lot of short form media there, as well as YouTube Shorts. You can look me up there as well. Just, you know, find it in the channel somewhere. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.